Hey, Tony Gaskins here, Chronicles. Just so you know, I'm not looking at the phone. I'm driving through my neighborhood, headed to pick up a little bite to eat for my wife. But I want to talk to you because I did a video earlier on Saturday, just kind of talking, just loosely talking. Basically what I was trying to say on the video is that I feel like, the term narcissism is overused by a lot of people, or misused. Because not overused if you actually using it the right way, but it's misused by a lot of people. And a lot of people say, yeah, when you really come in contact with some of this stuff, a lot of people mislabeling. But I understand it. And the reason why I understand why it's used so much and why it has become like the term, and even on the comments on that video, I've never in my life, since 2011, I've been on YouTube for 10 years, okay? I've only been using it actively for about a year, but a little more than a year. But the comments I put, I didn't know what narcissism was until, that's the title of the video. The comments on that video, which I'm gonna turn the comments off probably soon because it's just a rabbit hole, and my thing is I never want to lead anybody astray, and it just be so many people in the comments, and you just never know where people's spirit at and where they coming from. So you have some people with good intentions, and then some people just, you coming from the wrong place, and then it could mislead somebody who come and they're vulnerable and they're hanging in the balance, and it just could mess their mind up. And that's not what my page is for. A lot of people get real, just self-righteous in them comments and just, do too much. But even just the comments, I never seen, comments that long. Calm down now. What you got going on now? You got to calm down. You got to look where you going. Oh, boy, you about to back out. I'm in my neighborhood. Somebody was backing out without looking around. Now, even the comments, I'm like, I showed my wife, I'm like, baby, look how this word, really get people going. Like, I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like when a word have that much power. But see, me seeing how long people writing in the comments and how obsessed people are with the term narcissism and understanding it and explaining it, me seeing that lets me know why some people online, some doctors and some people who aren't doctors, really have honed in on that term. And a lot of people will use that term all the time for monetary gain. With YouTube, you get paid. When you see them advertisements, somebody getting paid. So sometimes too, I noticed that the word became like a balm, soothing balm to open wounds. The word became like an ointment, because what it does is it helps a person who really seeking closure and understanding of what they were dealing with. It gives some closure. It explains some things. And so you have to be careful to make sure you're not getting played on too by people who just using the term and really just playing into what you're seeking and what you want to hear, and for monetary gain. You got to be careful of that. And really where the focus needs to be is on you. Instead of spending countless hours trying to understand somebody else and what they are dealing with, spend those hours to understand you and who you are and what you want. So after you've spent those hours and and you got some closure, you got a little understanding, make sure you spend even greater amount of hours working on you and just developing your heart and building yourself up and just learning more about love and relationships, what a real man is, what a real woman is, what a real relationship is. Learning those things to get knowledge, to fill in the blanks, to help you replace all of the toxicity and all of the negative things that you've learned. You have to do the work. And in doing that work, you'll get to a place to where you can put that past relationship in a box. You can put it in a box and you can label it and you can move it to the corner, or you can set it on fire and watch it burn. That past relationship. And then you can move forward enlightened, healed, whole, healthy, and able to attract real love and not move forward in fear that you will attract the same thing again. And the way you move forward without fear is getting new knowledge. And what I mean by that is when you learn the red flags that a man will show, a man will exhibit in the beginning stages of a relationship, when you learn these red flags, like him being condescending, him being rude, him being inconsistent with his calling or his texting, him giving you his word and not keeping his word, him questioning you to the point that you feel dumb or insecure or like you're on an interrogation seat, him, doing things that make you question yourself and feel insecure and make you seek his approval. When you start to recognize these red flags, him lying to you, cheating on you emotionally or physically, him being verbally or emotionally or physically abusive in any way, these red flags that will typically show up in the first 3 to 6 months. When you know what red flags are, now it builds your confidence because you know what to look for, and if you see it, you're able to recognize it early and leave. So you get to that point by getting new knowledge. So that's where you have to make sure you're doing the work on you. You got to make sure you're doing the work on you, because that is very important, and you have to be intentional about that, because it's natural for the human brain. We want to understand everything. Some of the questions that women ask me are very clear. Like it's like a basic question. It's like the answer is written on the wall. Like some other people can look at the question and say, how can you ask that question? How do you not know the answer to that question? But really, it's just the human brain looking for closure, looking for a complete understanding. Like you know the answer, or maybe you don't, and you just really want to know. It can be plain as day, and you really need to hear it, because your mind needs closure. You need to know that you're not crazy, that you're not losing it, that there's hope for you. The unknown scares us. And that's why moving forward and walking by faith is so scary. And so that is why we see certain terms get a whole lot of play and a lot of people using it. And that's why I keep, mentioning every now and then, just to remind y'all, like, look, don't forget about the work. Don't forget about working on you. Don't forget about learning your traits and what you attract, and when you attract it, learning what you reinforce and what messages you send, what signals you send. And so learning those things so that you are not participating so that you are not willingly participating or unknowingly participating with a person who has, you know, a personality disorder or toxic traits that may have little signs that you ignore because of your own personality traits. And so I saw a lot of women saying, well, empaths attract these type of men. And that may be true. And if that is true, then that means you have to continue to explore what that means and how that shows up in your life. Because, and really understand, so if you're a person that has empathy for people and you deeply feel and you sense and you want to help and you want to save, that's not a bad thing. But if you don't understand that about yourself, and if you don't understand the red flags that someone who is preying on that trait is using, then you'll fall for it again and again. And so some people can study a term, a personality disorder, and at the same time be learning about themselves and if they reinforced it, or how they reinforced it, or how they, or why they missed the signs, or why they stayed longer than they should have. Some people can do that. On the other hand, some people will be that person, and you'll study and you'll look up and you'll learn, but then you don't take and learn about yourself and what you can do to grow, to heal, to change, and to be a better version of you. And you got to understand, this is not victim blaming. You're not blaming yourself. Oh, it's all my fault. Don't do that. That's not what we're getting at. The point is, you have to make sure that you're getting growth from the experience and that you're focused on your growth, not just understanding what the other person had wrong with them. Hey, this is Tony Gass. I'm at my destination. God bless you. We'll talk soon.